Yo, what is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is good. We are back for a full hour-length podcast, baby. I got a special guest in the house, Eric Sojazz Sports, and he dropped a new podcast, Smoke the Competition, here on YouTube. Go check that out. Eric, what's going on, buddy?
How's it going, buddy? How's it going? Thanks for the plug there. Yeah, check us out. Check me out. I got a new pod. We're just talking fantasy football. We're talking point spread, bets, your must-add, must-drops. Just keep everything going throughout the season. Keep everybody informed. Kind of letting them know what I do to keep my team going and have some fun.
Oh, man, this is a wonderful game we love of football. You know what, before we go into all the topics around the NFL and some fantasy football, the doubleheader Monday, this is kind of giving me an itch that the ointment won't cure, and I don't know if I like it or not. I mean, I'm always down for more football, but I don't know, the overlapping in the first quarter, having dual screens, and I don't know, man. I'm not really digging it. You feeling it?
Nah, I'm not feeling it either. I didn't think that everybody else was feeling the same way, but it's been bothering me. And you know what? It's awkward because on Sundays, obviously, you're doing the same thing. Like, I got multiple screens going. I even got it going on one of my computer screens. I got everything going on, and I'm comfortable, hopping back and forth. But for some reason, you get your Thursday night game and your Monday night game. You just want to watch one game.
Yeah.
You want to sit down and focus on your main fantasy players of that one game. I'm here switching back and forth throughout the first quarter. You're like, well, what am I doing here?
I know, right?
I know what you mean, man. I know what you mean.
And I like to chat. I like to chat a lot on the Twitter sphere, so I mean, it's hard to do multiple games at the same time anyway, but whatever. I just want to touch base. If you guys don't like Monday night, throw it in the comments, let us know. And doubleheader Monday night, because it's no bueno. But I know you got a soft spot for these Miami Dolphins, bro. We were talking earlier. I mean, the Dolphins drop a 70 spot like it's Madden on these Denver Broncos. Some of these images where we saw Devin A-Chain breaking that run look like, all the Broncos players were shot on the field. I mean, not to make a joke out of war, but I mean, how can we appropriately understand what these Miami Dolphins are right now? Because, okay, they're going to get their first test right now this week coming up. Squish the Fish week, Bills Mafia, baby. But I'm telling y'all, they played what? The Chargers, Pats, and Broncos. This is going to be the first real test for Tua in this track team offense. Okay, I told everybody, Sam Howell was going to get humbled. Can the Bills actually, sustain this defensive prowess against one of the faster, more creative, explosive teams we've seen in a long time?
I think it's going to be a challenge. I think it's going to be a challenge on both ends. I think we're going to see Bills defense challenged for the first time this year, like a real fast track, coming at them in multiple directions. You saw what they did without Waddle. And that's the scary thing that a lot of us aren't mentioning, is that was done without their number 2 receiver, who can be a number 1 on many different teams. So the 70 burger, that a lot of that has to do with Denver. I think they gave up at some point, and they just, folded in and said, we don't want to do this anymore. But going forward, I was big on Miami. It's the coach. It's the scheme. I think what Mike McDaniels is bringing to the table is very innovative. The way he's being able to attack you vertically and then in the run game equally as effective. It's a challenge on his head. And I also said to you, I don't think this is tied to Tua's health as much as everybody had previously thought. We saw what Mike White did. I know that was a small sample size, but with this scheme that they've developed, and like I was telling you previously off air, it's year 2 for most of those players. Mm-hmm. So I think you're going to see them be more comfortable, as you've seen with a Mostert, right? He's running back 2 in the NFL right now? Like, he's just going crazy. So I think it's Mike McDaniel. It's the innovation. It's going to be tough. This is a good matchup for them. Buffalo definitely has had their number. They've been the kings of the AFC East, so this will be a good matchup. But I am leaning a little bit Miami, unfortunately. But we'll see how it goes.
And I don't blame you, because as I broke down the last 3 games actually, I watched again of Miami, and it's facts. I mean, the creativity, the motions. I mean, it's every single game now he's adding more motions and more, misdirection. So it's even like the running play that I saw a couple times, even that flip shuffle pass, the no-look pass from Tua, like all these new little innovative things that he's doing. But it was like the addition of A-Chain with a Mostert, however you want to pronounce his name. But I mean, it's like you're doing the misdirection motion with the running back, and then Mostert's coming over the top of that and then getting the handoff. It is extremely difficult to defend, especially when you got even Tyreek Hill in motion. Who the hell do you cover on this track team? And the fact that they're able to run the ball, the offensive line is playing a lot better than I had anticipated them playing. And it's like, okay, my biggest fear was for Tua, okay, the headshot, et cetera, but this timing offense, McDaniel understood this, and I think that he is like doing the biggest favor for a Tua right now, because he's keeping him out of situations where he's going to take those big shots. Very much quick release. I mean, but you got to give credit where it's due. All the Tua haters, I wasn't necessarily the biggest Tua supporter. I even had him down my fantasy rankings quite a bit based on the fact of potential injury, re-injury to the headshot. But this man is dropping dimes. The timing is absolutely perfect. Even when you're talking 15 to 20 yards mid-range cross to Tyreek, he's throwing that ball before Tyreek is even in the middle of the cross. And it's working. It's working so well. Very difficult to defend. This will test the Buffalo Bills, no question.
Absolutely. And one more thing to mention with Tua that I've actually enjoyed seeing is his personality come out. You've seen that little chip on his shoulder. He's been such a nice, quiet, humble, just a calm demeanor, the way he's respected the public, the media. But with a couple shots that he's taken from different media personalities here and there, it looks like he's feeling like, yeah, I've had enough. And he's letting people know, like, I got some fight in me. I'm not going to go down without it. So I kind of like seeing that in him. And I think we're in for an interesting season. If he stays healthy, it's going to be tough for him not to be a front runner for that MVP.
Right now, how can you argue? What he's doing in Miami right now is unbelievable. You taking the Dolphins? I'm assuming you're taking the Dolphins?
I am taking the Dolphins this Sunday. I haven't dove too deep into the lines yet, but if you're just talking straight up wins, like I said, I took Mike McDaniel as the coach of the year earlier, one of my earlier bets. That has significantly jumped, so I'm glad I got on that bet when I did. I think it's down to 400 now, but yeah, I got on it early. Yeah, I'm with this fish. Sorry.
Squish the fish week. Squish the fish week. We're going to pummel these fish. It's going to be a good contest, man. I mean, we haven't seen this. I mean, okay, we went to Miami week 3 last year or whatever it was in that super 120 degrees of heat. So it's going to be different. It's in Buffalo. The crowd will be on the side. And, I mean, this defensive front, the way the Bills play defense against the Washington Commanders, I mean, the Commies, it was amazing.
Nice.
It was amazing. Yeah. That defensive front looked so good. I was so happy when we signed Leonard Floyd. And this is all without Von Miller. So we'll see. I mean, too bad we don't have Von in this one.
This might be a good side bet for us. We can talk about that later. This one might be a good side bet.
We already have too many side bets going on, man. It's too much. But, I mean, let's talk these Giants. Saquon Barkley is day-to-day officially now. He had the, 11-day rest from the past game they played. So there is a possibility that he does play because they are playing Monday Night Football versus the Seattle Seahawks. What are we getting from these New York Giants? Because they are the biggest enigma to me right now. The preseason with, Daniel Jones, Daniel Pennies, and he was feeding a Darren Waller on the regular. Now Darren Waller looks like he can't catch the ball. I mean, Daniel Jones is so erratic and sporadic everywhere. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to get on a weekly basis with this team, even going up against the softer unit and defensive-wise of these Seahawks. I mean, I think the Giants are even favored by 2 points. Even if Barkley plays, that might even jump another half point. I mean, what has happened, I guess I should say it that way, to these New York Giants with Brian Daboll? Like, why can't he figure this out right now? What is happening?
I'm with you. They are the biggest enigma for me to figure out. Last year, I did see that progression coming. I had foresee it coming. This year, I didn't think they were going to take that big of a step. And then the preseason came and we saw what the difference in the addition of a Darren Waller does to that offense. And I bought in. They had me convinced that they were going to be a competitive team this year on offense and be able to move the ball. Daniel Jones was going to be not necessarily a top 10 quarterback, but just outside there, somewhere around that 12, 13, 14 range and compete with the guys in that range. But so far, it doesn't look like any of those things are happening. And then the unfortunate injury of Saquon obviously hurts the offense big time. We saw that, which might be good for his little argument. Every running back has their own particular argument, but he might have a good argument still that he's needed over there a lot more than people want to give him credit for. But yeah, overall, I'm not sure what's going on with that offense. I'm not feeling confident on it. And then preseason Darren Waller and week 1 and 2. and 3, Darren Waller is that's a different view. I don't know if it's the hamstring thing is coming back to him and he's not 100% again or what it is, because he's dropping passes. He doesn't only drop. It just doesn't look like he's separating like he was. They're not feeding him at that rate that they were.
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned. Seattle looks like they probably would, probably be someone I would lean towards in that matchup right now. But it sounds like Dable just has to go back to the basics. They just got to figure out that run game and stick to that as long as they can, and run Daniel as much as he can, get him somewhere around that 50 to 60 yards a game so that they can find those open lanes and get him the easy passes that they were finding last year.
And I know, I understand they don't have a wide receiver one, but it's not different from last year. They had basically the same cast of characters added a Hyatt, and it's even worse than it was last year. So I'm so baffled and confused with this Giants team right now because, on paper and what we saw last year, we should see, relatively similar productivity from this team. I get it. The offensive line is looking like hot garbage. Maybe that's more so the problem. They just can't get time to throw the football.
Yeah, that could be it. You might have nailed it on the head with that one.
Yeah, man. So speaking of garbage teams and broken teams, I should say, not garbage, but the Cincinnati Bengals and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So this season right now, as we enter week number 4, for my opinion, it's been very weird. And I feel like we say this almost every year now, going up to about week 6. It's like this season is strange. This is weird. And I attribute a lot to this, for lack of preseason and training camp practices. Remember back in the day, we had the two-a-days. You had, guys playing at least a full game, whether it be spread over 4 contests in the preseason. They'd at least play 4 quarters in the entire 4 games. Now you're not seeing that. They pulled back on all practices, padded practices, etc. And you almost feel like these guys just aren't ready. And the first 4 weeks of the season, they're trying to get their chemistry. They're trying to get everything ironed out when that should have been done in camp in the preseason. Bengals, man, they're a big problem right now. Joey B dealing with the calf injury. They did not look good again on Monday night. Yes, Jamar Chase did look a lot better, but you could see what they were scheming up for Chase, trying to get him, short yardage, get him get the ball in his hand, kind of help Joey B to, get the ball out of his hand very quickly. But this team does not look the same, and without, a healthy Joe Burrow, I think they're extremely beatable on many fronts.
Yeah, there's something going on. There's something in the air. I'm wondering if there's been maybe an overreach or an over-anointment of crowning these quarterbacks. There's been all that offseason talk about the AFC dominance and all these quarterbacks and what are you going to do? And they're going to just, be so unstoppable. I'm wondering if we all needed to pump the brakes on that a little bit. And you're seeing that it could be attributed, to the lack of preseason. But some of these guys did play preseason, and they're still looking like hot garbage. Like there is no consistency in the flow, and this is stemming through multiple offenses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Jacksonville to mention. I'm not sure what's going on with Trevor Lawrence now. They played preseason ball. They looked like they were clicking. They've had the same cast of characters with a number 1 added to that offense, and they're stumbling. They're stumbling over their own feet. So I'm wondering if maybe these quarterbacks aren't necessarily ready to just put the load on their back and just hit everything going. These defenses look like they're kind of ready for them. They got the tape on them from all of last year, and these defenses are taking away their bread and butters, and these guys are struggling to get things going. With Burrow, we do know it's a little bit more to do with the actual injury, though. That's quite clear. And unfortunately for him, I think that's going to linger. Right? It's not going to be something that's going to go away in a week or 2, right? This is going to be an ongoing thing. Hopefully, at best, it continues like what you saw on Monday night, where he can play through it, have get away with a couple hits here and there, and still be able to get up and play through it. And you could tell he's not himself, but he's able to fight the pain, and he's able to make the throws when he's needed to make those throws. Right? If T. Higgins could hang on to a couple more passes, could have been a different story altogether. So
very true. Yeah.
I think the Bengals are going to be one of those teams you're just gonna. It is what it is type thing. Like they're going to play with Joe. He's going to be with this lingering issue, and I don't see him having that top tier performance while he's still struggling with that calf.
Yeah, it's a struggle, and I mean, I was saying the minute that he injured that calf, I was out in fantasy football. I was telling everybody it's soft tissue injuries, man. You hammies, calves, like strains, these things linger, especially when they're above the grade 2 level, and we're talking Jags. I got to stick with these Jags for a sec because they look good week 1. So what the hell happened between week 2, 3 to 4? And then hearing, the media talk that Doug Peterson, he said that he did not take over play calling this past week, but there's rumors and rumblings that he may have more influence moving forward. And I think that is absolutely needed because versus Kansas City, they looked lost. Last week, the Houston Texans had all those injuries. Stingley's on the IR. Petrie was out again. You had so many injuries in that defensive backfield. I was honestly believing that they would put up a 40 spot against these Texans, and it just did not happen. Guys were not getting open. I mean, credit where it's due to D'Amico Ryans because he is a defensive wizard, but this is still a big problem when you got a guy like Trevor Lawrence, and now you're reevaluating that quarterback draft class that was supposedly be, generational talent with Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, all those guys, and it's starting to look like trash. I mean, I still got a lot of faith in a Lance. I still got a lot of faith in Trevor Lawrence. I think they are very good. But, I mean, it's just something is broken with a lot of these offenses. I do like the point of saying there's a lot of tape for these defenses to have. And it shows, typically we see the defenses have the leg up the first couple weeks of the season. Maybe we start to see the transition. We usually see by like week 6 that teams start to figure things out against these defenses, game plan appropriately, and then we see kind of the shift in how these offenses play. But the Jags, I'm getting a little concerned. I'm not going to lie to y'all.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I thought they would be one of the elite offenses, to be honest, this year. The Seahawks as well. I'm a little concerned with how they come out the blocks, a little stumbling. Kenneth has looked great, but it's something in the air. I'm not overly concerned. I want to restate that just to make sure everybody's not taking me here at faith here. So the quarterbacks, I'm not saying Trevor's trash. I'm not saying
totally.
Any of these quarterbacks are garbage and they're failing because they have no potential or anything crazy like that. These are still elite quarterbacks. I'm just saying maybe we were anointing them a little too quickly that, they were going to start the season and just, everybody's going to throw for 400 yards. Everyone's going to look like Tua and Mahomes. That's obviously not what's happening. The tape is out on some of these teams and they're taking their favorite things away. So you saw what happened with Lawrence and Calvin Ridley in week 1. They were killing it. They were clicking right out the gates. And the last 2 weeks, they've taken them away. So that could be a part of it as well. They had the tape on that, and they decided, you know what, let's see what they can do without Ridley because it seems to be what they want to show off their new toy. They've taken that away, and the offense has struggled.
And that's where it's confusing.
Ran the ball well. They ran the ball relatively well.
Yeah. But it's confusing me because you had chemistry with a Christian Kirk already. Why aren't you going back to that well if you're taking away a Calvin Ridley?
Right. No, yeah, you should. And Ingram, too. Like, the Ingram thing has been surprising me, too, because I think he had like 70-plus catches with, I think that was a Jaguars record that he set as a tight end. And I thought he was going to build off that. The fact that Trevor, I saw he had requested that they reassign Ingram, keep him there. He was a big advocate for paying Ingram and bringing him back. So I thought they had kind of a chemistry that they would just build off of, that young quarterback, tight end, super athletic tight end. But yeah, it's something's in the air. Maybe you hit it on the head too with the OC thing. If Doug can retake the controls over there, we might see them find their stride again.
Yeah, I think they need a good get right game is how you got to see it, man. But guys that need get right games is Justin Fields, man. Like, come on, JF. I'm saying WTF because I don't know what the hell is going on in Chicago right now. This team looks absolutely dreadful. They look lost. I mean, okay, we made a side bet. We're talking side bets. Okay, Justin Fields comes out, and I'm his supporter, and he says, I'm going to throw for 4,000 yards, first Chicago Bears quarterback to do it in Chicago Bears history, which is poverty, by the way. How do you not have a 4,000 passer in Chicago history? I don't understand. But we made the bet, $50. But we made the caveat on saying, 14 games. He's got to play at least 14 games.
14 games.
This is not looking good. You're costing me money, Fields. I'm going to send you the bill in a second. But I mean, how do you fix this crap? Because okay, here's the argument. I see a lot of people trying desperately to remove the accountability from Justin Fields, and this bothers me because Okay, there is a lot of issues on this team. The offensive line is not blocking. The receivers' lack of effort and separation is not, producing. Yes, you got a guy like DJ Moore. I still believe in a guy like Darnell Mooney. The run game has not been strong outside of week 1. Justin Fields is not taking off in the ground game anymore. He's trying to be this pocket passer. Why are you removing everything that worked well last year to make it something that it isn't? I'm very confused in what's going on with Chicago Bears. The offensive coordinator is completely lost. Justin Fields is not progressing the field, locking in on one targets, missing seams, missing wide open outs. I don't understand how you can go from, hey, this is very promising from last year to what you're doing this year.
The Fields thing it's scary right now. Let's just say that. It's scary hours in Chicago. I'll stay away from all the other drama. It's nothing that I even want to address. But strictly on the field with Justin Fields, obviously we have that bet. I took the under. When you said 4,000 yards strictly passing, I thought you meant combined yards. I was going to recalculate. When you said strictly passing,
I did. We got to put it in the contract. The contract says
I'm on the
total.
under. Yeah. I had to take the under on that, and I took it confidently just because I haven't liked what I've seen in his progression. I haven't liked what I've seen in his accountability. And this is even prior to some of those comments that he made recently. Just the way he's kind of addressed how things have turned out, how he'd like things to go. I hear comparisons to Jalen Hurts when I watch some of these shows and these pundits, and I don't see that. Why do you guys think he's the next Jalen Hurts? Just what is it? I don't see him even addressing the team and the way you're going to go about your business daily and any of those things the way a Jalen Hurts does. There's a whole different level of maturity there and an understanding of your purpose and your goals. They're worlds apart in that mindset. Now, I see the abilities that Justin Fields has that Jalen Hurts may lack. He's physically more gifted. He's bigger. He's stronger. He's faster. He has a more of a cannon of an arm. But I've never bought in. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to convince me that those are the things that he's going to improve on. And things that he's willing to really grind at and make it how do I say this? I guess a purpose, maybe make it a demand of himself that I'm going to demand this out of myself every day. And now to fast forward to what you just saw happen recently after the loss there prior to the Kansas City game, when he's blaming coaches and he's questioning himself and saying things like, I had a couple plays where I feel like I could have got the third down, but then I didn't. I'm saying, just go get it. What do you mean?
Go get it. Absolutely.
What does that mean that I felt like I could have got it, but then I was thinking, just run. That's where you run. And then later on, they're asking you, hey, why didn't you throw that guy was open? Well, I just saw it and I just took it. To me, that's like the reverse of what you're seeing. So he's really just trending in the wrong direction for me. I don't know what they could do to fix this, man. This is a burning house. It looks like DJ Moore is just, he's happy he's getting a paycheck. That guy's trying to smile through the pain. That's what I'm seeing from him, to be honest. He's just trying to do what he can. I'm working, guys, but I know this ain't going to work. I'm just here because y'all traded for me and you're giving me a paycheck. That's the vibe he's giving me.
100%.
Good luck trying to figure that one out. I think they're going to have to call you. You have all the faith in the world in Justin, so whatever your game plan is, they might have to call you and figure that one out.
The faith is fading, man. I'm not going to lie, because yes, I was a supporter. Yes, I had belief. The talent level is there, and I think you did kind of hit the nail on the head, especially when it comes to, Jalen Hurts is a supreme leader. The leadership qualities in a Hurts is what, is the difference between him and Fields right now. When I saw what Justin was talking about, in the presser, blaming the coaches, yes, they took it out of context a little bit. But you do also have to say that's something you just don't say. If you're the true leader, you take full accountability. He took accountability the next day, and okay, fine. I'm always fine. Maybe sometimes you misspeak, but clearly, this is a problem for him. He wants to elevate his game, and perhaps he feels like he just doesn't have the support. But the other thing is, like you're saying, is that when, I could have got that third down. Instinctually, he just doesn't look like the same player. It's almost as if they told him, do not run and sit in that pocket and wait. And it's like, well, you're taking away everything this man is good at. He's a natural playmaker. Why would you not allow this man to continue to do that while you progress his throwing upside? I mean, he's got a cannon of an arm. He's got talent for days. And like, this is where, like the guys at ESPN are going to be talking about saying it's the coaching staff. It's not Justin Fields, but he's got to take some accountability and responsibility for his own play. Like you're saying, if the play is there and you can take off and get a TD or a third down conversion on 3rd and 10, that's 100% on Justin Fields, because that's instinctual traits that he is not putting on the field that we saw last year. This is my biggest problem with it. And I'm with you. It's like the New York Jets saying, the Jets defense eventually going to be, checking out by the time we're in week 7. They're going to say, I'm done with this crap. I'm not going to be playing as hard as I am. The Chicago Bears receiver core right now is already here. They are not putting in the effort. So when they say, oh, the receivers are not separating, go look at the effort involved, because Justin Fields cannot get them the ball. So what are they playing for? A paycheck.
Yeah, no, I hear everything you're saying there. At the end of the day, I am rooting for Justin, though. I never want to see any of these guys fail. He's so early in his career. We were both fans of him coming out of college. It's the situation. It wasn't the best. Sometimes it's all about the situation you land in, and then you can grow from there. This doesn't look like it's the best situation for him. Let's see how it unfolds. Maybe when he, I don't want to say if he, gets switched to another team, but down the road, that could be the situation he finds himself in. And maybe it's a better thing for him, and we can see the Justin Fields we expected to come out of Ohio State.
I am not out on Justin Fields either. I think that there is too much talent for this man. Just similarly with a Trey Lance. The raw abilities, give the guy an opportunity. Is it the best situation for him in Dallas for Trey Lance to be learning behind Dak right now? Maybe not either. But at least he can learn. At least he can sit back and watch and say, this is where I'm doing things wrong. This is where I need to see this. I don't know what supportive or lack thereof cast he has Justin Fields in Chicago, because clearly it's not working. I mean, the offense, the OC needs to go. They had the issues with the defensive coordinator. Obviously, fix your house first, man. Bring in the right people who can actually give this guy some tutelage. On top of that, you got, a Nathan Peterman, I believe, still as the backup quarterback. Give this guy a capable quarterback that's a backup who can teach him, who's been around the block. Like, Ryan Fitzpatrick would have been glorious as a backup to teach this man some stuff. So switching gears, we're talking these Green Bay Packers. Christian Watson is set to play his first game of the season. And, I mean, we talked early on this year on another show. We're talking some love for Jordan Love. And he looks legit. I mean, okay, he showed out. Okay, he had some mistakes versus the Falcons, came back this past week, took his team, the biggest comeback in Packer history in the fourth quarter. I mean, he looks for real. And now you're adding a playmaker like a Christian Watson, potentially with all that speed and juice. The youth movement's working in Green Bay right now. There's a lot to get excited about.
Oh, yeah, Packers fans should be elated. They got another one, it looks like, eh? How I don't know how they do it. There's teams that haven't had a quarterback for my entire lifetime, and these guys got a third generational potential talent. We did say it earlier, though. We said we were on board. I was 100% convinced. Now, once he played the Eagles when he came in last year, and he jumped in relief of Rodgers, and he didn't look like they missed a beat. That's when I was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna pay attention to this kid. It looks like he's taking another step here. Now, the Eagles, sometimes the secondary does make opposing quarterbacks look fantastic.
Yeah.
But it was how he got on my radar, and since then he just hasn't let us down. He's been fantastic this season, and this is without his number one receiver. 2 games without his number one running back. His number 2 running back has been running in mud. Hasn't helped him whatsoever. So I don't know. I think people got to just give it up to this kid. There's so much doubt, so much, speculation, and for no real good reason other than he was just replacing a legend. He hadn't done anything to make you think he couldn't play. It's just he hadn't done enough to give you a chance to buy in that he could play. And I think after 3 weeks, we have to say this guy can play. He's poised. He's shown it. When the team is rolling, he's making touch passes. When things aren't going, he stays poised. He can run, get you a first down with his legs. He looks like he's got it all right now. And if you look at what Aaron Rodgers was showing us in that small stint in New York, I just want to take a quick minute to jump in on that. He showed us that he has that compassion and ability to teach, and that willingness, personality. And you saw it on cameras in New York. It makes me think that's probably always been part of his personality.
Mm,
And he's been pouring into Love for years. It just wasn't on camera.
mm.
So Jordan Love he's got something if he was learning from one of the greatest. And we're gonna be in for a nice ride here.
That's an interesting narrative because we always heard that Aaron Rodgers was the selfish guy that he was not going to teach, and he was all me, and I think you hit it too, man. I mean, when you're talking how Jordan Love is playing, when we talked about him preseason or even in the offseason before preseason started, we were saying there were going to be times of, did he really just do that? And then, there's going to be other times where he looks Aaron Rodgers-esque. And when he does that, back shoulder fade, toss, off his back foot, he looks identical in throwing motion to an Aaron Rodgers. And then the biggest part of it was, does this kid have heart? And that was, the biggest aspect. Is he a leader? Obviously, he's got that locker room. Everybody respects Jordan Love. And then does he have heart to bring the team back, put it on his shoulders, and etch out a comeback? And we saw it already in week 3. A lot of criticism dropping the game to the Falcons. I mean, that missed snap on the quarterback sneak where he tried to sneak without the ball. Everyone's putting him down for that. But, I mean, it happens. Bryce Young was behind the guard instead of the center. So, I mean, young guys take time. Give them a break. But I'm in it, man. I think you add a guy like Christian Watson to this offense. It's going to be absolutely lights out with Reed and with Dobbs, and then you get Aaron Jones back. It's going to be a good offense.
Absolutely. And just think about this too. He's already established this perfect tandem, I guess you call it, or a nice rapport with Romeo Dobbs. Look how their relationship in the red zone. Look how they have that back shoulder fade that you're talking about and the way they can convert. I think he's had 3 red zone touchdowns already. I remember watching football for years and screaming, why can't Julio Jones catch one of these? Like, why can't Matt Ryan and Julio Jones do this just once? And he's an all-time great. So I'm not going to take that lightly to see such early in their careers, these two guys having that be on the same page to make those plays happen in key moments. This is big. Big. There's a lot of potential here. Like we're saying, this was without their number 1 running back and without their number 1 receiver.
And they're so youthful that they're growing together. They're all going to grow together, and they're like all in the first 3-4 years of each other. This has got some damage written all over it. I mean, Chicago Bears fans, you guys are dying for a quarterback, and Green Bay just continues to produce them. It's something to get very excited about, and I'm not even a Packer fan.
Absolutely. No, I'm actually been kind of a Packer hater, low key here.
Yeah.
Sorry to say that, but I've been against Aaron and Brett. As an Eagles guy, it's been a battle with those guys. They've been so good for so long, and it's going to continue. So, but Jordan Love just seems like he's likable. So I kind of am cheering for the guy. And they, like you said, the young offense. So let's watch and enjoy them and watch them grow together. It looks like they got something cooking. And Matt LaFleur, low key, might get some looks now. He wasn't getting a lot of respect as coach of the year whatsoever because they had Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yep.
Every year they're winning 13 games, but we'd just be like, oh, that's Aaron. No, he's getting MVP. That's Aaron. That's Aaron.
Yep.
Now you're going to look at it and be like, oh, shit. No, Matt knows what he's doing over there, people. Matt's cooking up some offense. Matt's getting the boys. He's getting the boys some W's. So it's keep an eye open on Matt LaFleur there.
And who was glorious at doing that back shoulder fade with Aaron Rodgers? Devontae Adams. They are using the exact same play with these two gentlemen, and it is paying off. Unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable stuff going on in Green Bay. But you know what? Okay, we're going to talk here. Eagles, fly, because I'm going to take a little victory lap. Yes, it's not cool, but I've got to do it early because I took so much heat in the offseason on DeAndre Swift, y'all, and I'm not having it. So for me, okay, yes, it's only week 3. It's early. I'm not going to go full victory lap. This is like a valet jog, okay? I'm going to get your Mercedes. This is what we're doing right now. It's a small victory. DeAndre Swift looks damn good, okay? And he looks explosive. That burst is back. And now you got to understand situation and team for all y'all that, are casual football fans. This is very important. Look what's going on with Jahmyr Gibbs in Detroit right now, and look what's going on with DeAndre Swift right now. This is an even comparison because they're both extremely elusive, electric, and have a ton of burst and speed, and look what DeAndre Swift is able to do. Yes, the Eagles do have a superior offensive line, but you could also make that argument Detroit's offensive line is quite superior also. So you're almost comparing apples to apples here outside of DeAndre Swift being in the league a few more years than a rookie like Jahmyr Gibbs. However, Injuries were the only thing that were holding Swift back, but the usage that we're seeing Jahmyr Gibbs not receive is very similar touch to what we saw DeAndre Swift not get. And look what the Eagles are saying. Run with the ball because you look damn good, and he's repaying all of us who supported him, including me who traded my guy Travis Etienne for him this offseason in the Dynasty. So stick it to all y'all that gave me the gears, but go ahead, man. Talk about your boys.
No, that's a ballsy trade. I got to give that one to you. I don't know if I would have pulled the trigger on that, but Swift he's the man. He looks unbelievable. I don't know how this is happening right now in our world, even in our football world. Somehow, the Eagles' combination of Kelsey and Swift is not the most talked about combination of Kelsey and Swift on the planet right now. Right. Somehow that's not, even though they're absolutely phenomenal every time they've played in front of the spotlight, right? We've had a Thursday night Kelsey and Swift dominance and a Monday night one, but it seems like that other combination seems to be more interesting. But sticking to this one, Swift he's amazing, man. This guy, when we got him, you didn't see me, but I literally did a dance. I started dancing. I started cheering. I got a cousin that's a Detroit Lions diehard fan. He was like, good luck with the injury, guy. I'm like, I'll take him. We seem to turn guys out, and we improve them. So far, so good. Keep my fingers crossed, but he looks amazing. And he looks like he's just refreshed, and he's happy to be, back home where he grew up. And now that it's what makes me wonder, sorry to pause there, but why didn't we play him week 1? If he's always looked this good, what did they see in training camp that made him say, you know what? You don't need that many touches.
So that is my point on that, because they will give the veterans the first right of refusal. And I think that's a respect thing from the coach to the veterans. And I don't dislike that. I don't hate it at all, because it shows that your leadership qualities in the locker room. And then now they said, okay, Kenny Gainwell, you did okay. Let's see what DeAndre can do.
You might be right with that. Yeah, I can see that being exactly what happened there. Because this guy's clearly got a little bit more juice than Kenny's got. And that's not to knock Kenny, but this guy's special, right? And you even see interviews after the game with Devontae Smithy talking about him. He's like, this is a bad MF, man. That's a bad boy. And he's right, man. And he's saying that as a bad boy. He knows he's a bad boy. He knows age. And the way he's not just saying it for likes. He's like looking at the man like, no, guys, this guy's different. And we're seeing it when you're watching it on TV. He's running at a different speed than the rest of the players, 100%. And it's clear. There's something about DeAndre Swift's gear right now. Him at a full clip, him at 100% is another type of athlete. I'm with you on that. That was a great trade. Congrats to you. He's going to keep running wild behind this line. That offense they just ran through, that defense they just ran through was a top 2 run defense coming into the week. 100%. So sky's the limit for that run offense in DeAndre Swift.
And that one that he shot the gap, man, just the juice, the burst. When I scout players, like, that is the MO for burst. If you got that, you get double checks for me every time on my scouting sheet. But, I mean, DeAndre Swift is just supreme talent. We knew what he was. Everyone jumped off ship, and I understand why y'all did, okay? I'm not going to, sit here and do the full victory lap like I said, but this guy being healthy in this offense, it was the easiest no-brainer call for me to say that this is the biggest rebound bounce back, new fresh scenery. DeAndre Swift was just going to run away with this thing, man. Just stay healthy, DeAndre, and everything is going to be glorious.
True. Just tell Jalen to stop stealing those goal line touches.
That's it, man. Enough of that.
Take them. I'm okay with the 4th down push. We need those first downs, and they can't be stopped. But get the running backs a couple touchdowns, man. Jalen, stop stealing those touchdowns.
Totally, man. You're killing me, Jalen. I could have like 50 points from DeAndre. But talking rookies, CJ Stroud, my guy, because I was so bullish on this guy's game coming out of the Ohio State Buckeyes. I mean, he's done nothing but impress so far in the first 3 weeks. Yes, he took a little bit of a hiccup in week 1, but there was time where, he had to understand. And the fact that, his development is going this quickly, I am not shocked. And I was, talking about it a lot this offseason because I said that these Houston Texans, give them 2 years. 2 years, Texans fans, and you will be in the show, in the playoffs, challenging for the, a lot of victories because of how this team is being, built in this current moment. The wide receiver cast, with a Bobby Trees. Now you got a Tank Dell. Bobby Trees is the, clear vet that's going to help all these wide receivers round out their game. Still very reliable in the PPR upside. Dalton Schultz, similarly, he still hasn't, haven't really touched his game right now because he's just, Stroud, is spreading the ball around to everybody. I was not on the Nico Collins bandwagon. Stroud's making me a believer in Nico now. So for me, CJ Stroud is like the front runner at this point. Yes, it's super early, rookie of the year, but he looks so good, and you give this team 2 years with them building that defense a little bit more in that offensive line. Watch out, Texans, man. They're coming.
Oh, the Texans are legit. They are legit. It may not be a team that you need to worry about in terms of wins and losses right now, right? They're growing, but talent-wise and what the culture they're building and the players they're building around, they're absolutely legit. And you saw we had talked about, we both believed in the defense before. So we said we believed in this defense last year. We both believed in Stingley and where they were growing and how that defense was going. And then getting a defensive-minded coach was the cherry on top with D'Amico. So I was definitely a believer in the defense. But then, I'm going to take my little victory lap here because, I was a big believer in Tank Dell.
Now, heck yeah.
I was a big Tank Dell guy.
Preach
I had
it.
Tank Dell in my top 5 coming out. I said Tank Dell's going to be legit. He's the skinnier version of Tyreek. I thought this kid was special with the ball in his hands, electric. And he's so far has been nice. And he's produced way better than I even thought he would be able to produce. They didn't even use him that much in week 1. And I believe in PPR format, he's wide receiver 10 right now. 54 points on the season. This guy's been money. Tank has been special. To me, he's a must-add. Just to plug that in right now, you got to get him on your rosters if you don't have him. But yeah, you were right about CJ, which makes me wonder, how could you not be right about Nico and Tank if you were right about CJ? Because you were always saying CJ is the man. This guy, he's pro-ready. He's kind of like the Joe Burrow, just not that ceiling, but he can deliver the ball with such accuracy and touch. Now he's got weapons, man, so he's using them.
I liked Tank Dell.
I thought he was going to be.
I like Tank Dell a lot. I did, but I was like, the size always threw me off, and I understand. Zay Flowers was probably the one that I liked at the size more than a Tank Dell, but I still liked his game. When it came to Nico, it was the bias of playing with the Wolverines, man. Just never having the quarterback and then never uplifting the offense. That's what got me. Yes, he made big plays at Michigan, but it was always that thing. And then, playing with subpar quarterbacks and not uplifting the quarterback is what got me. So now you bring in a guy like CJ Stroud, who is, uplifting this wide receiver core, including a Nico Collins. I think that's kind of the difference where a Mike Evans and Chris Godwin can uplift a Baker Mayfield. I think CJ Stroud is uplifting the wide receiver core. That's kind of where I was, on the fence with a Nico Collins. But I'm on board, man. Hop me on the wagon. I'm on.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a fun one too. He's definitely uplifting them. I think he's playing at an excellent clip. He's setting records right now. I believe he's at QB 13 in the fantasy format, it's a shocker. You didn't think, without any rushing upside, you never thought he could do that, but he's just throwing the ball at an amazing clip without turning the ball over either. So he's not making the big mistake that everyone was so worried about, that whole litmus test. People talking about how you can't read a defense. Then he had the one interception in preseason and everyone was ready to jump off the wagon. Get back on. He's going to be a player, people. He knows he's only going to get better. He knows exactly what he's doing right now.
Love CJ Stroud. Love the Ohio State Buckeyes. I mean, I watched, I believe, every single game with CJ Stroud back then, but it was so good. But fantasy football time. Let's play a game. It's called Are You Staying In or Pulling Out? Keep your mind out the gutter. This is all fantasy football talk, man. Let's talk quarterbacks. Bryce Young. I know it's early, but we got to do the test right now. You staying in? You pulling out on a Bryce Young right now?
Oh, we talking fantasy football?
Fantasy football.
I was never in. Never in. We're pulling way out. We're pulling way out. Sorry, Bryce. Yeah, real football, I still had him ranked super high. I still think he has an amazing opportunity to be a big talent in this league, but fantasy football, absolutely not.
How long does it take him to get, CJ Stroud-esque type numbers right now?
That's not happening this season.
Right.
I don't see it this season. I think that's something for the future when they get a true number one over there and Bryce has another year to develop and learn. Maybe the speed of the game is a little different for someone of his size. Not that he can't compute the game and everything, but someone of his size playing with guys this large is a little different than what CJ's dealing with, I think, over there. And I think you can tell after Andy played, you could tell there's a difference. It's not just the team. So there's something there that Bryce is not completely grasped or taken full control of. And it's probably going to take him a year, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Dak Prescott, are you in or out, man?
I'm in on Dak. I think it's matchup. Sometimes he's going to be matchup based, but I'm in on Dak. He's still a great quarterback. Dak, I'm not worried about him. That was a hiccup there. They'll be back. He has your boy CD. That's a number one receiver. He's going to be thrown to every game. I'm definitely still in on Dak.
I'm confused why they haven't used Brandon Cooks yet on the deep shot. But hey, he was injured. I get it. But man, unload it. Let's see what it can do. Come on, Dak. I don't know what you're afraid of. Your boy Lamar Jackson. I know you're still in, but I want to caveat this with what's wrong with the offense. They have the OC. It's new. Their chemistry building. I'm kind of suggesting week 6, 7 is kind of where we start to see them unload a little bit more. Where are you at with this one with this offense?
It's a tough one. They just have no sustainability right now. One minute the offense looks great. I'm sending you texts. I'm tweeting that they're clicking, they're moving the ball. Lamar looks great, looks efficient, and the next minute they're fumbling, they're stumbling over themselves, and they look like they have no idea what they want to do right now. I did have some encouraging signs seeing Lamar rush for 100 yards last game and using his legs a lot more, but I'm still in on him. I'm definitely in on him. I think the offense is going to be a work in progress this year. I don't think it's going to quite be a well-oiled machine. We're not going to see this offense consistently put up 30 points. This is not the season for them. I also think that they're going to have an issue with health at wide receiver. I don't ever like to put that out there as something that I'm wishing for, but you can see like Odell had that twisted ankle. Bateman just always seems to be in and out of the lineup. Can never fully trust him. And then Zay Flowers, he's a rookie and he's small. He's a small stature, and if he's going to be your guy that you always want to get the ball to, that's going to be a problem. You know what I mean? Like not just in terms of his reception in PPR, but he's constantly looking for more yak, right? So he's going to be in danger a little bit more than you'd want. I just feel like they're going to be they're one of those teams that always seems to be bit with that injury bug. They already got the running back, unfortunately, again, and it just seems like that might be something that's coming at them again this year.
Yeah, fair enough. Derrick Henry, man, what are we doing after 2 points versus a stout Cleveland Browns defense?
Henry, I'm still in, but you got to watch those matchups again. I think his offense as a whole is going to struggle this year. I was not in on the Titans offense this year. I don't have very many shares of D-Hop. I don't think I have any more shares of Treylon Burks. Chig is someone that I always thought was interesting, but I never bought in on that either this year. I stayed away, and I'm kind of glad I did.
Yep.
Yeah, Derek, I think, wherever you got him at, it's going to be too high to be out on him. If you can trade him and get something back, might be something interesting to look at. Depending on if you're in a PPR league, I definitely look at trying to move him and getting like a receiver or something of more value. But I'd be in on him, but he's matchup based right now with that offense. If they're going against one of those stout defenses, they don't threaten enough on the outside and deep to give Derek enough rushing lanes.
Like we were talking, no identity Titans. They don't even know what they want to be. This is why this is a problem right now. Josh Jacobs and these Las Vegas Raiders. This is a problem. I told y'all, man, you don't hold out in camp in preseason and expect him to blow up, man. This is actually the week 4. He should get his legs under him. But are you in or out on Josh Jacobs?
Yeah, I'm in on Josh. I saw him in a recent interview where he even talked about how he's disgusted with his performance so far, and he kind of understands where it's coming from. I think it's one of those things where, like you said, they didn't have the camp. They were apart on some very important things in his life, his financials. So he was focused on one thing when he could have been focused on getting ready. Everybody says, "Yeah, I'll be ready. I'll be ready." When you're worried about some money and you're worried about other things in life, you might not be ready. You got other priorities at the time.
Football
so once his priorities got straightened
out,
exactly. Yeah. Now that he's got his priorities and everything straightened out, his legs are going to get under him. The offense is going to get going. I don't know if the Raiders are that team this year, though. They relied on him so much last year. I was hoping that they would, take a step forward this year with Jimmy G, adding Jacoby Myers. Thought they were going to, open up the offense a little bit better. Second year under McDaniels. Doesn't look like they've taken that step. And if they're able to load the box, if defenses can focus on Josh, it's going to be tough. But I'm still in on him. Okay. Definitely still in on him.
Fair enough. I'm. This is the week. I think I'm already dissecting some of the stats in the film and stuff. I think this is the week that he pops off because week 4 is enough time to get his football legs back. Miles Sanders, our guy. We in or we out because it's been a struggle so far.
Miles is going to be one of those guys that I'm just saying I'm neutral. He's one of those guys. He's safe. The ceiling is not there. He's getting a lot of opportunity. I think he had like 7 targets last game or something like that. Like there's a lot of opportunity, but the offense is just not good enough, right? With Andy Dalton, though, I will say there looks like there is more upside. So depending on how long Bryce is out, I'll have a look at that and see if you want to play Miles, depending on your matchups. But I'm not big on Miles with Bryce Young as the head of this offense. They don't look like they're going to put up more than 2 touchdowns a week with that lead in the offense.
Yeah, I was in because volume share was going to be likely his, but it's just not panning out because like stacking the box is way too easy on this offense. Breece Hall, man, ACL recovery and all, he looks good, but what are we doing with Breece?
Man, you got to be out on Breece right now. You can't be completely out. You can't bench him, so you can't cut him, but you can't play him. You can't play him. They're not giving him enough volume. They're not no one's respecting their throwing game, so they're gonna load the box. You got to be out on both running backs right now until further notice.
It sucks. It sucks so bad. Cam Akers, new situation and all. We're pumping up a DeAndre Swift of fresh scenery. Cam Akers gets a new look here with the Minnesota Vikings. In or out?
I'd stash him. I definitely wouldn't just throw him in my lineup right now because if Madison hasn't looked good or as good as you'd like with that offense, then I can't expect Cam Akers to just be a plug and play like that. But it's an interesting guy. It's an interesting ad. They added him because they weren't happy with their production. That's my thought.
Totally.
So they were looking at it like, okay, maybe we did miss Dalvin, maybe not. Maybe we should have added someone in the offseason. So they made the move. They pulled the trigger. He's going to get an opportunity. I think he's definitely going to get his shot. And if he takes the bull by the horn, this could be a great shot for him.
Let's see if the one Achilles can hold up because, I don't know why he fell out of favor with Sean McVay. He sleep with his wife or something. Akers, like, what is going on, man? He shipped you out faster than you could say in blink an eye. But wide receiver time. Jerry Jeudy, in or out, man, because I've been out.
I'm out on Jeudy right now, too. I haven't liked what I've seen, the Denver offense. Surprisingly, Russ has been going to Sutton a lot more. He's got a couple touchdowns. The Jeudy thing hasn't worked out. He hasn't hurt himself. I thought maybe the hamstring would, be something that was going to linger or re-aggravate. We talked about those soft tissue injuries. But yeah, now Jeudy, not feeling it. I'll have to see it before I can trust it again.
You know what scares me is they're giving Marvin Mims the Jeudy role in a lot of sense, and that scares me a lot for Jerry.
He's taking full advantage of those deep shots.
Totally, 110%, man. Jahan Dotson, my boy. This one hurts like you would not freaking believe. What are you doing? Because I know what I'm doing.
I'm still in on Jahan, and I actually think this week he might have a get-right game. I know, like I've kind of talked up and talked down the Eagles secondary here and there. They've made certain quarterbacks look good. They've also made some receivers look good. I think Jahan Dotson will have a decent game this week against the Eagles. I wouldn't be completely out on him, but I do understand the meter's going up. Starting to worry.
I'm very worried because this man was wide receiver 36 in the rankings, expert consensus rankings, and I was pumping this up saying sleeper, and apparently I was too sleepy because he's just not doing it. Because Sam Howell, I'm a supporter of Sam. Give Sam time. It's only been 4 or 5 games. It's got to come. You got to spread this ball around. But he's finding guys like Logan Thomas instead of Jahan. It's making me a little angry, but I'm a little antsy. I'm antsy. No kidding. DeAndre Hopkins, in or out? I think we're kind of on the same board of saying out.
Yeah, I'm not in on that until that offense finds an identity. Maybe they switch quarterbacks, something. Not in on it. It's not enough. He's getting some volume there, but it doesn't look like the production is going to be there, and they're not turning those into wins, so they might look elsewhere instead of just trying to force feed him.
I wonder if he's almost on the peg of retirement. He just does not look happy in Tennessee. I don't know. He went for the bag. We knew this was going to happen, but
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. MT, Slant Boy, Michael Thomas. What are we doing with Slant Boy, in or out?
I'm in, but it's a very safe floor, not a high ceiling there. He's not going to have the old MT. That production's gone. Chris Olave's taken all that from him. He's the clear-cut number 1 over there. You can't fault that. Can't argue that at all. And now Kamara's coming back. He's going to eat into that production. We all know Kamara's a PPR reception guy. So I'm not big on MT, but I think he has a safe floor. He looks like he's going to get those 5 to 7 targets a game, give you around 50 to 70 yards, and you just hope he gets a touchdown.
Difference is now we got Derek Carr with the AC joint sprain, and anybody knows has had an AC joint, you can't even lift your arm over your head. So this is week to week. I could literally see Derek Carr out 3 to 4 weeks, and Jameis Winston does love some MT, Slam Boy. So we could see some uplifting there, but I'm with you. I'm still in on MT as well. Jackson Smith-Njigba. I mean, it has not gone well early on. He hurt his wrist, had the surgery. Clearly, not part of the scheme at this point. I love JSN, but at this point, I think I'm kind of out at this point.
I'm out. He's got to stay on your bench. I wouldn't cut him. I wouldn't trade him.
Correct.
I would just stash him. I saw a little clip this weekend on NFL Films. Not sure if you caught it, where Geno went over to Jackson. He was talking to him, and it was a great clip. Geno has turned into a fantastic leader, but he's basically just trying to keep his head in the game, just saying, "Hey, man, I'm going to need you here. I'm going to come to you. You're amazing. Like you can't be stopped. Just be ready. Your number is going to be called." And you can see Jackson trying to pick his head up. I'm surprised that he's having some confidence issues, but if he's got that locker room around him, Tyler Lockett's a great leader. I'm not worried about him. They'll find a role for him. It'll get rolling. Justin Jefferson didn't get rolling until like week 4 of his rookie season, and then he became the best wide receiver in football. Don't jump the ship yet. You never know what could happen. The kid has a lot of talent.
Week 7, week 8 is kind of your litmus test. So we stay positive. And if it starts to change, I mean, just like Jahan, get on the damn field and get some targets for me, man. You're killing me. Last one I got is Garrett Wilson, man, in or out, because this is a problem in New York.
It's a massive problem. It's that house is burning down. They knew it was going to burn down. They threw kerosene on it and they acted like it was water. I don't understand what they were thinking. I'm out. Like I said, with these other previous players, you can't just ship them. If you can trade Wilson now, that's a trade candidate. If you can get something back, I would trade him. I'd definitely look at getting something back for him right now. That'd be a great trade candidate. But you can't cut him. You just got to kind of bench them for now and hope that they're going to do something. The positive side of things, what I'm looking forward to is that they seem desperate. They seem urgent. The media is getting to them. I can see them making some kind of move here. And right now, any kind of move could help. Even Carson Wentz could help fantasy-wise, people.
Yep,
fantasy-wise.
absolutely.
Fantasy-wise. Even Carson Wentz could help. And I feel like they're going to do something, though. So I wouldn't be completely out. I'm just going to push the pause button, and he's not going to see my starting lineup until further notice. But like I said, if you can make a trade for him, that would be definitely a route to go.
It's tough, man. You're even seeing news that, so Coach Salah is losing the locker room for his support for Zach Wilson right now. That is no bueno. And like I said, I mean, we saw it with the Denver Broncos when they were struggling at the quarterback position and the defense completely let down, and this is going to be the New York Jets as well. It's a lost season at this point. I mean, unfortunately, Aaron goes down, and there's not much left you can do. I mean, outside, like, Garrett Wilson, the poor guy, screaming at Zach and the offensive coordinator on the sidelines because he's open. Just throw him the damn ball. Zach just isn't the dude.
I feel for Zach, though. Honestly, I feel for Zach. Last year, I had no sympathy for him. You're growing up. This is your job. This is what you asked for. This year, he literally looks like a person that's like, I didn't want to do this. I didn't expect to do this. Like, why am I doing this right now?
Yeah.
This isn't what none of us signed up for this. Like, they're upset with him, and he's like, I'm upset. Like,
yeah, this wasn't my plan.
I shouldn't be here right now. And I feel for him. Honestly. He can't just say it, but I think he honestly feels like I'm not ready. And he can't just say that as a professional athlete. That'd be a crazy thing for him to say, but you can just see it. It's written all over his face. They just got to do something and get somebody else in there and let this kid get some chances to grow away from all this stress and all this expectation in media. He's not ready for this hype, Yeah. He'd be better off in Chicago right now, somewhere else 100%. Where they aren't expecting to win a Super Bowl this year.
That's right. Yeah, I think I saw Trevor Siemian's on the call sheet right now for New York. So is that an upgrade? I don't think so, but it's gonna likely be a little bit better than what Zach Wilson is giving you. But
they got to do something.
Do something. But this was good, man. Welcome back to the show, Eric Sojash, my guy. Go check him out on Smoke the Competition. It is good stuff. He's building strong, so definitely go over there. But it's been good times, man.
Thanks, man. Awesome. Always talking with you. Let's do it again as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give us your thoughts, anything on the topics you want to talk about, drop them in the comments, and we'll see you next time. I am out.